And so let us begin by setting our motivation to attain the peerless state of enlightenment in order to benefit all living beings, and knowing that to attain that state I must perfect all the trainings on the Bodhisattva path. And to perfect those trainings in turn, I must be able to rely on a good process of learning, and learning based on an unmistaken presentation. And thus it is with this in mind that I am here this morning to listen to teaching on the graduated path to the state of enlightenment. Geju Gyapdun and Sumba Sambe Dembala. Sumba Sambe Dembala Nile. Sumba Sambe Dembala 탑계라 도지지 못도 마셔도 도바체 하는 되게 가서다 아 로다 예소 아니 가서다 답가지데 가서 자와 잡발라 아니 냠네 가서다 지라 가서 자와 잡바 자와 장소에서 저거는 아니 가서 자와 도지 참네 아마 기배다 같이 저거 자벨라 말라가 냠네 지라 기벨라 맞게 세다 아니 예라 가서다 지저 잡발라 아니 저 토메라 소베다 같이 같이 주주라만 아니 여도 가서 지저 잡배야라 아니 삼다 주라만 제가 어떻게 아니 된도 아니 가서다 다른 진짜 자벨라 말 추정 것도 라마티가 세다 어떻게 아니 되나 맞지다 규대식을 하죠 되게 많이 되잖아 세다 아니 되나 계산가 산게 돌아서 아니 되나 진짜 다 예스 계속 장세 파베서 다 란게 파바 란게 다져도 파바 아니 내가 저거 파바잖아 왔다 되죠 아니 저서 뭐 수고라서 다 소식 차상한지 봤어다 어떻게
And so we begin by again generating the merit field. And so we have the central figure of the merit field is our own root guru in the form of Shakyamuni Buddha, and that to the left of Shakyamuni Buddha, that we have the lineage of lamas headed by Lord Maitreya, the lineage of lamas of the extensive practices lineage. Above and beyond, behind, and the main figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, we have the consecrated practices lineage headed by Vajradhara, and to the right of the central figure we have the lineage of profound view headed by Manjushri. And then in front, in the space in front, our own kind root guru, surrounded by all the lamas and gurus from whom we have received teachings directly, and then just next to them, below them, the beginning of the tantric lineages, the 4 sets of tantric lineages represented by the main deities of each lineage. Then the grouping of the Buddhas, including the 1,000 Buddhas of this fortunate eon, the 35 Buddhas of confession, and so on. And then they have the Arya Bodhisattvas, such as the 8 close disciples of the Buddha. Then the grouping of the solitary realizer Arya beings, the hearer Arya beings, and then the Arhats, and then followed by the Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma protectors, and so until you have the full complement of the merit field visualized. And then we visualize around ourselves the complete complement of all kind mother sentient beings without exception. And so then we again focusing on the merit field with a sense of deep faith, trust and confidence, and then also in considering the varied sufferings that are all the sentient beings all around us are undergoing. We focus on those sentient beings with a mind of genuine compassion. And then we really start to set our motivation to quickly attain the state of enlightenment in order to benefit all these sentient beings. And through really following the path as laid out by the various teachers on the merit field, all the paths and grounds and stages of the path, I really endeavour to practice all that path as perfectly as I possibly can in order to attain that desired goal.
아니 되네 와다 소신데 되네 소신데 다 탐제 그 투가 다 지원 잡아 투가 혼제네 다 투가 혼래 아니 왜서 빠도 매고 퇴제네 아니 다 지금 산제게 신 아니 지금서 람장로 퇴제네 아니 대달래 아니 지금서 20원 거 수제한다네 아니 소신데 다 탐제를 20원 거 차상와래제 바텀소 삼사자서.
We see that all the figures of the merit field are marked by an at the crown, at the throat, and a hung at the heart center. And from that hung at the heart center then emanate countless rays of light that go to all of the pure realms and inviting all the wisdom beings of those realms which come and dissolve into each member of the merit field.
지금 초신가 됐다 다 25 무엇을 주네 다 지금 다 거서다 다 지금 초시 됐다 문에 봐 거라 인상상 어떻게
And this kind of gives us this really renewed confidence and certainty as that this merit field that I am visualizing in front is in fact now embodied by the actual Buddhas which have absorbed the wisdom beings, and so it's kind of like truly empowered a merit field.
아니 다가네 생각 지금 다가네 생각 그 가서다 아니 지금 출수제다 되게 좋다 되게 되지 출수제가 가는 이마이다 지난다 가서 뭐 먹고 살때 이내 지난 가서 사월리긴 가셔도 와 되는 저 출수제가 가는 이내 아니 지금 가서다 지금 가서도 출수제가 가는 이내다 가서 주간께 동반이 인간에 아니 주간께 아니 동반간에 아니 가서 주간께 아니 되게 아니 주간께잖아 아니 되는 저 아니 출수 출수가 가라 출수할 때는 대다가 두기를 대화 통 동반한테 돈이 있으면 시켜서 삼사 아니 주간 대다겠네 아니 오버두 되잖아 아니 배 도와줘 심지 탐제라 아니 가서도 아니 주주뒤 아니 집어는 마셔야 되는 통한 디바다 바샤도 저 단체 장식 다가 중소 삼사 어디를 공부해야다 아니 다들 야가도 멘트다 제가 필요하다
And then we go through the usual process, having developed the visualization of the merit field and stabilized that. Then we make the offering of the bath. And so from emptiness, from our own meditation on emptiness, we give rise to the entire bath house. With all the different accoutrements and so on. And then we make the offering of the bath to all the figures of the merit field as they come down in single file, stepping down the steps into the pools of nectar, water and so on. And that and this also produces bliss in the members of each member of the merit field as they're being bathed. And this bliss gives rise to emptiness, and they can abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness as the bath is unfolding. As was explained before, then the waters that have been used exit through 6 pathways or pipes into the 6 realms of existence, purifying the negativities and obscurations there, and all the imprints of those negativities and obscurations also. And then we make the offering of the 7-limbed practice and prayer together with the mandala. So I won't go into this with any more detail because it has been covered more extensively in previous teachings, and I would advise, if you have an interest, to look up the recordings of those and go through them again.
되네 다 초신라 아니 면제 표에 되래다 양라도바다 찾아와서 최셔 저 그래서 교조다 저 탐도 저 주고서 뭐하지 아니 면제 표네 간제르서는 면제 표네 도대체 무슨 거냐 소아티에 아니 그래서 신일로 마구바네스네 아니 다도 집에 밖에 신일로 그러나 타자 가예 신일로 구바네스다 저 가서다 지금 말로 로나 타자랑 주네 기에 애게 지나게는 바제다지 니와시 오다 되지 무슨 조건이 아무 소아들이 어디르지.
And so then making that the mandala offering and the offering of the 7 limbs, we conclude that particular practice with the dedication of, reverently I prostrate with my body, speech and mind. I declare all negativities accumulated since beginning this time, and I present clouds of every type of offering, actual and purified, and rejoice in the merit of all holy and ordinary beings. Please remain until the end of cyclic existence and turn the wheel of Dharma. For living beings, I dedicate my own virtues and those of all others to the great enlightenment. And following that, we, in our minds, as we contemplate giving or offering the merit, the mandala, we are cognizant of 3 great purposes for which we are making this offering. Namely, that all of the mistaken attitudes of mind, from showing a lack of respect for our spiritual teacher up to holding on to or grasping onto the 2 self-entities, and that's the second, is that so that we may quickly be able to develop all correct mental attitudes, such as showing respect for our guru, etc., all the way up. And thirdly, that we will be able to overcome all obstacles, both external and internal, in order to be able to fulfill and complete those first two great purposes. Better borrow a watch because time might get away from him, as he says.
Oda dede chene ta chene ani pande tsawe lama rinpo che ta ge kaso ta peme de ko kuzu dungu de tsazo ta kanja chege o dede chene ta pene duen chenpo sumgu kone sowa ta dede che wante ani rangi kaso choshin de ta ge ani duen de la choshin sowa ge duen de la rangi tije tsawe lama ima nama rangi tije tsawe lama la chunjang goto lama so kone ani rangi tije tsawe lama de ani rangda nipa chi, rangi chibolo chun, pema tawe tani rangi chibolo chun, ani ta kaso de nyegi puti, ani chwe chanchu lamga rinpeke, nyuwa nyuto sanke, nyuwa nyuto sanke, cheto ani chanchu lamga rinpe, ani ti nyamsu langdo chegido, ani tende yinpa yinsa, ani ta choshin kenabe, ani jesu sune, ani tila chingi labro ches, wata deke, wada tene shu so samsa ta jibo chune ane choshin la sunte jibo cha ane choshin de da tanze ga ane ge shin do ta tu ge wo yungur wada kasa choshin de da tanze ge gongba de la ma ra simje tamje ba nirin changdam ya ba cha su yin ba ine nyodo sanje gongba tobe la dengi digi tobe la de ba yore ta tene za pajo ngone ta tene ge 튕게 저 상교 도나 ta 대다 투게 시우는 거다 같이 조심 뭐냐 되네 아니 대다 인더면스 뭐다 대시 시소 삼소 되죠
And then we again in making these supplications for the three great purposes to fulfill these three great purposes, we offer the prayer to the glorious and precious Root Guru. Come take your lotus and moon seed placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech and mind. And we see a reaction from the merit field in that grouping containing our own Root Guru, surrounded by all the teachers from whom we have received teachings directly. And our own Root Guru emanates a replica body which comes to the crown of our head and faces the merit field, and then starts to beseech the merit field on our behalf, to speak on our behalf, to saying, this my child is endeavoring to do her best to quickly attain the state of enlightenment to benefit all sentient beings. Make this request that you offer your assistance as much as possible in eradicating all internal and external obstacles and obscurations, so that this can happen as quickly as possible. And making this supplication on our behalf, then the merit field responds with great joy, as really being very, very pleased, because after all, the whole purpose of all those enlightened beings is to really lead all sentient beings to that state of enlightenment. And here they have somebody who is taking on that responsibility from their side, and so it's really fulfilling their own wishes. And so for this reason, they are especially delighted that such a practitioner is really sincere about entering into the path in this way. And they kind of say, certainly, sure, definitely, we will offer whatever assistance we can. And so if it's possible for one at this stage, this is where one would offer the prayer of praise and supplication to the lineage lamas of the Lamrim are the graduated path lineage lamas. And this goes through like from our teacher Shakyamuni Buddha down through the different sets of the tantric lineages, and also then the of course the extensive practices lineage of Maitreya, the profound view lineage of Manjushri, the consecrated practices lineage of Vajradhara, and so on down through then the lineage lamas. And then this is again in order. And so then also like through doing this process of heartfelt supplication, that we have our own kind root, the replica of our own kind root guru on our crown, again also assisting us in the supplication process to the merit field, as we recite, for example, that prayer of praise and supplication to the Lamrim lineage gurus. And that continues to, that we can also offer, for example, the prayer, the foundation of all qualities, again, from relying correctly to the spiritual teacher, and up to the attainment of the mental quiescence and special insight, that we make our supplications so that we may be able to generate all these realizations of all that subject matter on our own mind streams. And then we start the process of the dissolution of the merit field, and this begins from the bottom, where we have the Dharma protectors absorbing, dissolving into the layers above, like so the Dharma protectors into the Dakinis into Dakas, and then into the Arhat, the hearers, the solitary realizers into the Arhats into the Arya Bodhisattvas into the different Buddhas then into the different levels of the tantric lineages, from the Kriya into Charya into Yoga into Anuttara Yoga, or highest Yoga Tantra, and then finally they absorb into all the as well as our teachers, all into our own kind root guru, there in the space just in front of the central figure. And then we visualize from the Buddhas left and right the different lineages of the extensive practices lineage, again absorbing upwards, and finally into the central figures of in turn Maitreya and Manjushri. And then above all those figures of the consecrated practices lineage, absorbing into the figure of Vajradhara, until we are left with 5 main figures. So we have Vajradhara, Maitreya, Manjushri, the central figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, and then our own root guru. And so at this point then we pause and really visualize clearly on those 5 figures.
다 투가 공부때 투가라 다 같이 다 그래 투가라 장벌라마 좀 가봤어다 장벌라마 좀 가서 투가라는 저도 찬스다 어디는 저도 저 투가라는 우리 때문에 선바스 차 세다 어디는
And then from the central figure, at the heart of the central figure, we visualize Lama Tsongkhapa, at the heart of Lama Tsongkhapa, and the figure of again Vajradhara, and then at the heart of Vajradhara, the wisdom being.
어디서 공부시? 아니 되네. 다 디갈 미네. 세나트는 강. 즉 세나 때 뭐지 강요요 때. 야 아니 뒤지 도저 저 그렇지. 세나 때 뭐지 강요요 때. 아니 되네. 아니야. 저거서도 야 뒤네다. 그거서도 뒤네. 아니 지보게 아니 가서도 다들 겨도 차한테 맞지잖아. 아니 또 온 걸 맞지. 소식 쪽을 맞지. 에 여기 잠자한 얘기야. 저 파티 안데 슈티 되게 돼 도가 슈티 파티 아니 되게 돼 가서다 안 등기 장기 지자자 라마티에 아니 도가 봐 슈티 삼사체 어때 그 맛이 아 슈티 되게 자자 도가 슈티 파티 수 삼사체.
And then again we stabilize our visualization at that point of the five figures, and and also incorporate the descending nectar light part to that meditation for blessing. And then we begin the final dissolution, and here we can see how the figures of Maitreya and Manjushri absorb into the central figure, and then also the figure of Vajradhara descends down and absorbs into abide at the heart of the central figure. And our own kind root guru, the final figure, absorbs into the heart of the central figure. And that leaves it then at that central figure. Sorry, and also the particular thrones on which those figures have been seated, including the sun, moon disk, and mandala, lion thrones, and so on, they have all absorbed into the lion throne of the central figure at this point.
다 도와서냐 좀 되게 유연되게 상로 되네로 그렇다 고유연데 수고연데 투고연데 틀레고연데 란지바 탐절지 신지바 되게 탈레죠 굴레 뒤시 뭐 이런 뭐 주고 펜다마다 탐제가 되어지게 어떻게 공부시.
And so we have this central figure of Munindra Vajradhara Shakyamuni Buddha as the sole remaining figure in the merit field. And then we reflect on the good qualities of Shakyamuni Buddha, the enlightened Buddha, of how the qualities of body, speech, and mind, their enlightened activities, the four qualities of their being completely free of all fear of suffering and for themselves, and they're expert in means of being able to eradicate the suffering of others, who work for the sake of others without bias and with great compassion. And they work to benefit all other sentient beings, regardless of whether they have received any benefit from them or not. So meditate in that way. And then we just use placement meditation to fix our attention on the central figure in the merit field. And then we recite the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni So. So Om Muni Muni Ma Muni So. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni So. Om Muni Muni Ma Muni So. Om Muni Muni Ma And then reflect on the meaning of the mantra as we recite.
Om Siddha Kusum Nuta Om Siddha A U Ma Ligyori Igisum, that is a Kusum Tu. Ta Rangi Tamewe Lu Se Lu Nga Yesumti. That do not say to Toba Shaja to begin Lunga Yesum the Juala. Jua shows, no? Juguamari, Juala, Julala Puyare. So Basaja to Shaja to Lunga Yesum the Jula. Toba Saja to Batamuna Sanki Jamarangaras, and she let them boachi, and Lamla Lana Sanja Kumatabare. Canadian Basa, Judy, and Kibuchung, Kibuting, Kibuchimbe Lam Yamsalam Altene, and what that to be Kusum to Maras the Mindawa Chai, the Chavarwa. What the Desi Yong Cheto, Jingilap to Susa, what's in Santa Cachata, Muni Sero, Kibuchunga, the Kibuting, Mahamun is the Kibuchimbilan, Tinam Lam Tachim and Yamsula, what a Sandia Compatoj, what is Compassion Tanjua.
The first of those syllables of the mantra is Om, and that has indeed three sounds within it. It is A, U, Ma, and these symbolize the body, speech, and mind of the enlightened being. And as we recite, we are making a commitment to transform our body, speech, and mind into the body, speech, and mind of the Buddha, of an enlightened being. And knowing that just to request that or to pray for that is not enough, but we actually have to train. Train in what? Train on the path related to the being of basic scope, and then the being of intermediate scope, and the being of greater capacity. And this is symbolized in the other syllables of the mantra, Om Muni Muni, being in turn, and the first referring to the being of smaller capacity or basic means, and then the second of the intermediate capacity being. And the Mahamuni is of course the one on the Mahayana path, or the greater capacity being, and that Soha is to please make this come about, may it come about. And so the whole mantra is filled with the meaning and the commitment from our part that we will undergo a training to achieve that goal of transforming our body, speech, and mind into the body, speech, and mind of a Buddha.
Precious jewels, precious Getcha, money is the jewels Getcha, nobody was that's a willing dealer. Getcha. Zachi was the conscience was a teasing Yorba. That dile pay charge, that can say dile Chima Getcha, that's a Getcha, Chima Getcha was and I'm going to precious Chavada. Because the tar and big digit. And said the Getcha was singular and precious cherry of Mari. Muni cherry of Mari, and that's a Muni get. Said the lake, Chima Getcha, Chima model high big command. And a delay Getcha the Garsona. Taba Shagua. That delay gets a ranch woman, Taiba Magasin, Tamja with the Muneta, Munimuneta, Mahamunicha.
Again, I'm saying that really the word Muni from the Sanskrit can be glossed as meaning precious, as in precious jewel. And so some sort of ornament or jewelry that in this world is considered to be very pricey or even priceless, is considered to be something very, very precious. But here the example is of course that in terms of the first utterance of Muni in that mantra, that what is precious is that somebody who has overcome just considering the aspects and the aims and aspirations for this life to be important, but rather now consider the working for future life as a human being, as a celestial being in a fortunate rebirth, being the main objective of the being of smaller capacity is more important. And so they have really recognized what is really more precious than just working for the stuff of this life. And then the second muni is again really adding more value to that which is precious by extending that motivation from just aspiring to a positive rebirth as a human being or a celestial being to now really aiming to attain liberation from a cyclic existence entirely, which is the main prerogative of the being of intermediate capacity. And then the Mahamuni, of course, is that somebody realizing that to aim for realization or a liberation from myself alone is really not proper or enough when I consider all kind mother sentient beings are mired in misery and suffering. So my objective is to attain a state of enlightenment in order to be fully qualified to benefit all these sentient beings, and that being the motivation of the being of greater capacity. So if you have such an insight, into the recitation of even a name mantra like this, a name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha, one can indeed, as it were, glance through the whole path of the graduated path to enlightenment, because the whole path is contained just in the recitation of that mantra.
수강요 말다 상계 좀 됐다 다다 때마다 상계 좀 됐대 상계 좀 됐대 좋았다 되게 좋았다 됐다 그래서 상계 좀 됐대 소화되고 하가지고 나한테 조어지게 돼 숨겨 줘래 배박에 걔 배박 소서 학자도는 학지에 제기 못했어 무슨 야가서가 학직도는 학자에 세지 그랬어 다들 뭐 다들 찍 되나 차상들까 그냥 바로 와 상계사로 와 안다가는 상계 안다가는 나게 돈다 신라마시나 돈말래 돈다 시바도 되는 누가 치기로 나게 돈다 한 먹어야 돈말래 나게 돈다 시바도 돈다 삼도 안 되는 누가 치기로
So it's often sort of curious how sometimes, when we are sick or we have illness, that we really run to Tara, as we consider Tara has some special superior quality to Shakyamuni Buddha in order to help us through our illness, or medicine Buddha for that matter. But it's a curious way of thinking when you consider there's no deity or Buddha who is superior to Shakyamuni Buddha, and indeed Tara, medicine Buddha, and all the other aspects or emanations have arisen from Shakyamuni Buddha. And so we want to be careful not to kind of misplace importance or to consider one Buddha to be somehow more superior than another. And that here too, Lama Atisha made the very prescient observation on arriving in Tibet about how the Tibetans, they supplicate 100 deities and don't get don't generate or don't realize one or get a visualization of even one. So they're dissipating all their energy by having a wide variety of deities to practice. Said whereas in India, the Indians just practice one deity and they get a visualization of 100 deities. So they have the right emphasis. So it's very important to, in considering the recitation of mantra, that there is some benefit just to the recitation of mantra, which is very good. But then when we have a little bit of a meaning of what can be inferred from that mantra, the meaning of the mantra itself, or what meanings it points to, I think it adds, doesn't it, a great deal of meaning to the recitation of that mantra too. And I think in particular the recitation of the name mantra of Shakyamuni Buddha has a special power to it.
가스난 가서 나라도 대화 두고 요래 동네 세고 그 가서 대화도 동네 영화 쇼스마다 람람람 가리지는 못해 뒤tum는 용거 다 성종도 와.
So it's really saying that in this mantra, for us, basically we want happiness, isn't it? And we want to avoid suffering. And the mantra is saying, listen, yes, you want happiness, you don't want suffering. How do you actually achieve that? You achieve that by practicing the path as is laid out through the smaller, medium, and or intermediate and greater capacity beings. That's how you do it. So this mantra is saying, yes, go for it.
지고를 제한다는 반대자가 라마를 다게 지고변 가져 고소도 무주자도 담부 순대제다 담부 가서 주 니가 가서 주 순배가도 때도 쇼네 다가 이제 산제 고마마도 어디서 손도 랑이 되라 자외 라마 세다요 봐 자외 라마 되라마 다 팀네 아니 자외 라마 되라 팀네 아니 다디 가서도 다 나마 뭐랑 자외 라마 이번 나마도 마셔지 두 바치 아니 다 되게 시야 팔로다 다 시야 출로네 어디서 주요서.
And then we have the last single remaining figure in the merit field of the Munindra Shakyamuni Buddha, and then we make the supplication and invite that Buddha, that central figure, to our crown. And so again we go through the supplication verse of glorious and precious root Guru. Come take your lotus and moon seat placed here on my crown. Keep me safe in your kindness. Bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind. And the first time it begins that journey of the figure coming from the merit field, and the second arriving at our crown, and the third they really stabilize on our crown. And then they actually absorb into, of course, we have our own root Guru already there, and that figure of Shakyamuni Buddha absorbs into our own root Guru. So in essence, that figure is now our own root Guru. In aspect, it is the figure of Shakyamuni Buddha, and it turns around, not facing the merit field anymore, but facing towards our back. And then we, in order to purify negativities and accumulate merit, we again make the offering of the 7 limbs and mandala. And then we do the prayer again, the supplication prayer. So the Supreme Lord, Lama Lord, embodiment of the 4 bodies, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of unobscure Dharmakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of great bliss Sambhogakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Lama Lord, embodiment of multiform Nirmanakaya, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Lamas, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all tutelary deities, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Buddhas, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all holy Dharma, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Sangha, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Dakas and Dakinis, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all Dharma protectors, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you. Supreme Lama Lord, unity of all refuges, Munindra Vajradhara, I pray to you.
네, 근데 유일의 슈도 동은 나서와 너한테 다 같이 그다 계획신이 맞대봐. 대봐 이제 대출로가 다 님이 더 되는 주로 수시도 맞대봐라 되는 년도가 되나 다다 맞은저 탕제 계획신이 라삼조 니요고는 수시도 되는 거 라말에 징계라도 수도죠.
And then we say, I myself and all mother sentient beings born in samsara have to experience severe suffering for a long time. This is the retribution for not properly serving our spiritual teachers in thoughts and deeds. That can be not serving a teacher, or having entered into that relationship with a teacher, then not doing that correctly, incorrectly relating to a spiritual teacher. And so now I myself and all mother sentient beings pray, please bless us to properly serve our virtuous teachers in thoughts and deeds.
So the vegetable lamale and kuichila to the number of set of Kimba. That Russia sent the town to your leader, son sugar, tomato, the water to what a kawata, she need another samjo. Ni gonna switch into Matembe and the cake dictate Tamjeta, near to Bajeta and Jasha Tawa, Dancer, Ugarasi to Judo, so any church to get Seran was so long that don't talk you that and patient Kawatuya and give a senior some new gonna switch into Dendu and Towa Kawaja Rasha Samjata, you so such.
And through making supplications in this way, streams of 5 types of nectar with light rays cascade from the body of Lama Lord on our crown. These light rays enter into your body and mind and those of all other sentient beings. And through this, all the negativities, obscurations, demons and sicknesses, which are obstacles to properly serving virtuous teachers in both thoughts and deeds, are cleared away and purified. Our body becomes luminous as if made of light, and all the good qualities of life, merit, scriptural knowledge and realization increase and grow. In particular, we think that a special realization has arisen in our mental continuum, and that of all sentient beings. It is the ability to serve our virtuous spiritual teacher in the proper way in thoughts and deeds.
what Matibe Nimeja, that Danga and it to Lobe Nimeja, what the chat, and a Sabet, got the Debina and got the was a Sabet to joy to Rosa, but was in the Debe period, that Lama to go over to Gana, Rala, also should you be Lama number 2 and do the number part 2. That is set of it, to go to Gana, and a number children with the Lama to Gana set up to Gana. So many data something as she need the best idea of Compala Neva, Gawana Kiva, give a shinage and Mipova, near to Metoa, and laying about a new Tubakawa, Johnson Jovata vacation teller, Jambata Tebe, you endanger talking. A Chito, Julian, never the tattoo girls at 200 drove over Subata.
And then we go through the actual practice. And so there are 4 sections of the actual practice, and these are 1, the benefits of serving a spiritual teacher; 2, the disadvantages of not serving a spiritual teacher; and 3, the way of serving a spiritual teacher through thoughts; and 4, the way of serving a spiritual teacher through deeds. And the first of these, the benefits of serving a spiritual teacher. Here, all the lamas with whom you have a direct Dharma relationship radiate from the heart of Lama Munindra, and this is the Guru on your crown. Visualize them sitting in the space in front of you and think, by serving the spiritual teacher, I will be close to Buddhahood. All the Buddhas will be delighted, and I will not lack spiritual teachers. I will not fall into lower states, and I will not be overcome by bad karma and defilements. I will not violate the bodhisattva conduct, and keeping it in mind, I will accumulate more and more virtue and accomplish all my worldly and ultimate aims.
What are the dollars of a ticket? And it's a donor check what is that? It's not because it's showing, but because of the church you was in Jimmy, Lama Tango, the check you marry. Cotona check, Lama, double Lama Tala Keva, Niva Lama Tana Keva. Suba Lama and a cover to what a Keva go yard. Tambo Lama Tala Keva. When a Lama Lama taxi Keva in its go yard, taxi chasing it. And Lama dance at you, and that Lama dance at you, and that the Gajo, that Lama Demta Kevas go yard. 대바 개가지고 당부 라마 딱지잖아. 소소 라마문에 다디 가서 왔다. 켈레는 득사만 소소 저 딱지제 도와지. 당부 어찌지도 남자 교체 라마 대샤 아니 제일 강에 태우고 뭐 보고 도와다. 당부 라마 따라 개가지. 딱지제 개가지. 라마문에 지 따다지 상그 천이 천도 천모도 따라 개가지. 대내 갈 것은 다 대한 사도 가서는 켈레는 사도 다 라마 땡 개가지고 다 dingi 창서 다 가서 라메 공부 좀 이렇게 해가지고 그요 수바들 공부 라메 투공 다 라메 다 지금 라메 잡아들 지금 시대부터 소소다 냠내 제투하지 공부 좀 라메 공부 타도 가서는 냠내 제대로 와 와데 좀 해가지고 그요 수만내 지투 통해서 그요 어디 땅보 따라 해봐 봐도 라마 땡게 봐 타만 라메 공부 좀 해가지고 그요 뒤쪽에 다 산제 공부 생겼다 저와 열봐 저와 열봐 당부 딱지 가야 맞아 남자 민대 교치 아니 제일은 강남만 붙이는 거 보여 또 당부 최슈와 선글 라마 저와 저거 좀 세요 말이야
So it is said that one needs really 3 areas of expertise in the whole process of relating correctly to a spiritual teacher. And the first of these is prior to even entering into that relationship with a spiritual teacher. One must become expert at analyzing and checking out a prospective teacher to see are they fully qualified for the job, and to really be able to discern, really to have the necessary qualities and so on, and characteristics to be a guru, to be engage in that role of guru. So that's the first area of expertise, and then that's at the beginning. In the interim, then one has made the decision to enter into that relationship with the spiritual teacher, and so one must be expert in how to relate to the spiritual teacher, and that is the second process. The third and final area of expertise is that then we must become expert in acting the advice, the practices laid out by our spiritual teacher. In other words, to follow what has been advised, and that this then is the way to be able to quickly attain that state of enlightenment which we desire.
어디서 그러면도 즉 가서도 가야 많이 가야 유명하지 않은 남자 민코랑 때서 어디지를 못 차리셔 뒤지지를 셔 뒤 맞상게 아니 생이 상황 소리지 어떤 말이야 저 생이 상황 맞아서 레모체 이미 깨지 셔요 말 생이 상황 맞아서 다그 소다게 생이 라면 생이요 나는 장선 라면 정한이 생이요 상하 라면 생이요 라마 근데시 고 그랬으니 생이요라면도 그 민계자 말이야.
And so in the first area of that area of expertise, the checking out, the analysis period, we should not be concerned about what title the prospective teacher has, whether they're considered a Rinpoche. That's irrelevant to the process. Here, our terms of references that they got the Pratimoksha vows. Are they able to give advice on that level? Have they got the Bodhisattva vows? Are they able to give the advice on that level? Have they got the Tantric vows? Is that the kind of guru I'm looking for? And will they be able to give me pure, unadulterated advice on that level? So it's these kinds of issues that we need to check out, to analyze in first of all making that decision to choose a particular teacher to be our guru, and before entering into that relationship.
그래서 또 제시 계절 시 개화직 되는 라마 계자 맞다. 미인도 하고 되는 라마 계자 말와. 미망부 어디를 뒷년도 미망부 연구도 구샵지기도 어떤데 계자 말. 그러나 생기서는 나한테 참고했지 와.
And so we must always be focused on the fact that the qualities that we're trying to look for are internal qualities of a person, internal qualities of any prospective teacher. It's not that they are very genial, that they are very kind of sweet talking, that they have many other students, that they even receive a lot of respect from many other students. This is irrelevant to our analysis. We need to see what kind of internal qualities they have. This is what really counts in choosing a spiritual teacher.
어디 개체부터 다 지단에 다 그래서 남르신 받아서 도나치다 아니 대주 나로다 지가서도 이제 대바치 계획심이 되라 아니 유대 주 참고야 와다 되게 도대기 롱도도 장자 와다 개부여래 와다 다 이내 가진 게 좋아지 마탈라야 가르고 그랬어 쳇들이 개와치마 개체와 라리 신 개체와 견다 유대 이게 나네 아니 유대가 참마가 요게 와다 된데 봐도 마탈의 상고구였다 마탈의 상고구여래 되는지 마중에는 그거 당하니까 요래.
And so that this area is covered in some detail in the great treatise on the path to enlightenment, on the stages of the path to enlightenment, Lamrim Chemo, and other graduated path texts, where they detail that for a Mahayana guru, that they need to fulfill 10 different qualifications, and so one can look into that and get a good idea of what to look for. And that, and also details in the ornament of clear realization. In that text, it also talks about what kind of characteristics are necessary for a fully qualified guru. And that, as I stated previously, any prospective teacher should have at the very least, 3 basic qualities. One is that they consider future lives to be more important than this life. 2 is that they consider others to be more important than themselves. And 3 is that they have more good qualities than bad qualities. And that if they don't live up to those 3 qualities, then you can't really trust that kind of teacher. You have to be very careful. And so that so one needs to really look up and become informed as to what are the necessary qualities that make for a fully qualified teacher. But also, in doing so, we cannot forget that you as a disciple, we as disciples also have to be qualified, and that there are basic and necessary qualities for any prospective disciple or a student also. For example, such as they have a very clear discernment of what is right and wrong, for example. That is a sample of one kind of quality that a disciple needs to have. Yes, it's worth noting that in the past in India, in Nalanda monastery gave us such wonderful teachers as of course Nagarjuna, Asanga, Dignaga, and so many more. None of which had the title Rinpoche.
Rinpoche is the precious precious human life.
So the word Rinpoche means precious, and so in that sense we are Rinpoches. We're all Rinpoches because we have precious human life. So I know that I'm making this kind of emphasis because I know in the West that we have a tendency to jump to for the big name act, isn't it? That we want to go and see them, and that somehow we can't be self-deceived in doing that. That is not to say, of course, that any teacher with a big name is not a fully qualified and genuine teacher. Of course, that is the case. I'm just saying that one needs to be discerning. One needs to be careful in choosing. So also to take into consideration the salient point that prior to choosing a teacher or entering into that relationship, the kind of power is in our hands, isn't it? But once we have made the decision to enter into that relationship with the teacher, then the power is no longer in our hands. And so, if things go awry after that process, after having made the decision to rely on that particular teacher, then that can kind of like really generate great negativity. And that's the very opposite for why we entered into that relationship in the first place. We entered into the relationship in order to generate virtue, isn't it? Not non-virtue.
guest house port na lu ne ta chiba se satne on shoga ya la sugar wa o den na lu ane zape de mo chen chiba shoga ta wa amade hagu yo ma ta mi de ki gen chimbo da hagu go men do la ma chimbo da mo ko se be 님 ju chen pe go yo wa ane chiba shoga ta de je la zape de go lo ma mo bo jo lo ma de ta la ma ko wa pe na se jo ga yo ne ane amade ke de wa mo je la ma pe so so la ma pe ma so ane la ma pe ma so ta de mo 가서 미직 내장 야는 미직 대소 미직 대소 아주 저다 저 롱에서 시사서 그 아주 대소스 버들다 네버도 근데 롱 야 네버도 되게 들어 그 아주 시 what and this 대소스 뭐 배정 어제 라마디 인기레스 안 가봐줘서 막 니집어 쇼가 땅이스 집어 쇼가 안 되는 안 다른 거잖아 안 제일미 자베드 수평원서라 무지 수평원 하나 어디 로마디가 차체네 아마 쇼 못사도 하다 아마 하고 요 말은 좀 요 말로 왔다 되잖아
So apparently in Tibet in the past there was a great Nyingma Lama, Sapitrul, he was his name, a very, very wonderful Lama, but very great master, but also very, 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 very humble. He would just go alone wherever he was going, back and forth to give teachings. He would carry his own bags, and he'd be like very kind of like poor looking appearance. And so, as was the custom, when night was falling, he would approach a house and then beg for a bed for the night or a place to sleep. And this old woman living on her own was a place where he came. He asked for a place to stay. She looked him up and down and completely concluded that he was just a wandering beggar of no significance, and gave him a corner to curl up in and sleep, and then, as was the tradition, like at the time, no kind of toilets in these houses or anything, like I had a chamber pot, and when morning came, she told him to go and empty the chamber pot outside, and so he didn't blink. He just got up, took the chamber pot, and out he went. In the meantime, a large group of his own disciples had arrived at the house in the morning, and they asked her, was our Lama here? And she said, no, just this old beggar guy. And I gave him a corner to sleep in. And they she said, describe him. And so she described him, and they kind of, I think that's our guru. And so where is he? And she says, oh, I sent him out with the chamber pot. And so very shortly he arrived back, and of course all his disciples recognized him and started prostrating straight away, and she was mortified. She ran away. She was so embarrassed. She couldn't handle it. Misunderstanding. So that's a real lama. So it's a real lama because it's the very living of the opposing of the 8 worldly concerns. Yeah. So like no, he made no kind of excuses in the morning when he was asked to do this job. He said, no, I'm not. He didn't say, no, I'm not going to do it. No, this is it. Like I'm going to benefit sentient beings by doing this and opposing the mental afflictions and the 8 worldly concerns and so on. But again, the story of Drumthumpa, another exemplar of an example of the ideal lama, ideal teacher, also extremely humble in his actions, in his clothing, and in his behavior. And he, again, was one of these who would set out when invited to give a teaching somewhere alone, carrying his own baggage on his back. And in this particular journey, he fell in with 2 Nakpa, these lay tantric practitioners, and who of course didn't recognize who he was at all. And how could you? And they considered themselves, to be quite learned, and so he was kind of like the beggar along the way. So they, after some time, they said, would you mind carrying our bags? And so they gave him, and he said, sure, yeah. Took on their bag. And after another while, one of them, his actual footwear was causing him a problem. So he took off his shoes and said, would you carry these, because my feet are causing me a bit of problem. So they put the shoes around his neck, and Drumthumpa continued on carrying all the bags and the shoes. And then, of course, after some time, they approached the particular monastery that had invited him to give the teaching. And all the monks of the monastery were lined up as per tradition on both sides of the path, with a big long line with katas and so on, and welcoming. And the 2 Nakpa were going, who are these for? What's going on? Like, there must be some big teacher coming, And they asked him, do you have any idea? And Drumthumpa said, well, I don't know, maybe it's for me. And then the penny dropped, and they both took off. I'm not sure whether they stopped to collect their shoes or not. They disappeared before. So this is a clear idea of they are not being aware of what qualifies for a fully qualified guru.
가진 거 잠도 되다. 그래. 숨바 삼배 된줄에 니체. 다 당부 자와 대화 정원이 있었다. 그래 대화 정원이 아니 제 신이 근데 교회 신이 나무서 균도 세워. 다 교회 신이 나 균도 세워 미네. 안 다기 교회 신이 되나 산대 미인데 양다고 좋다. 당부 그래서 달라마 땡차네. 아니 삼도 됐다 고고요다. lama ten chani on da so o da di kyen thone tange de lo sa maria samsa cha kyen thoi ne ngi de ba ki be kyulo to sa de sa o da de de ding jo ji le so na an ko chi na da yung mar wa ka chi mar wa o de.
And so then where we stopped last week was that the third of the particular outlines that we have just spoken about, the how to relate to the spiritual teacher in thought. And here it's saying one, it begins with really faith. Faith as the very root. And here, when it comes to having made the decision to relate to a spiritual teacher, you should arrive at a kind of a conclusion in your own mind with great confidence that even the faults that I perceive in my spiritual teacher give rise to more faith in their validity. This is the kind of the point that we should reach, and that because when we enter in that relationship, there is little chance or danger that we will fall out of that relationship or pervert that relationship. And so this is kind of degree of faith or degree of confidence that we need to have in that particular person.
다 지다 최 제바 건가라 라마 산제스 딱고 했더니 그게 요말 그 최를 좀 봐요. 얘랑이 답변은 소다가 조단 제바이나 라마 산제 인구고 요말이 소다가 조단 제바이나 라마 산제 구sab다야지. 산제 구sab다야지. 그러와 구sab다야지. 구sab라 교양 쪽으로 와. 구sab다야지. 다들 장조 선배 때는 그게 시험도 다들 내가 소소 라마지 땡기 임바이나 다들 라마의 산제의 자와다에 중요해. 산제의 자와다에. 다 산제의 자와이네. 뭐 산제 인고에서 말하라 그러잖아. 또다 그 산제의 자와 소리지. 다들은 상하게 제어다 다 묘한유도 상계가 줘도 아니 대불 남도 키고 여러 왔다 건데 나가라로 와. 다들서 아니 라마 산제스 따고 요래. 산제스 따고 요래.
And so it's actually it's not absolutely necessary that we view our guru as Buddha in order to practice the path. In fact, the way in which one perceives the guru is related to where we are on the path. So on the Pratimoksha vow, the path, on the individual liberation vehicle, I should say, that here the teacher is seen as representing the Buddha. On the Bodhisattva path, the teacher is similar to Buddha. And then on the Tantric path, of course, this is when you have to see the guru as Buddha. Because this is the path, taking results onto the path. This is our motivation to quickly attain enlightenment, remember. So here we really have to use that power of imagination to see the guru as Buddha.
근데 인상 나가 온고도 탐에 응안에 온고염도와. 온고도 라마 아니 할 꾸르상제네 온고고도 와. 그네 가지고 와.
And so this is why, for example, when we go to empowerments, that we cannot receive empowerment from an ordinary being. That's why the guru giving the empowerment generate themselves as the deity of that mandala.
다 로맹원에 라마디 이담디 뭐 대체네. 로맹에 라마디 이담디 이바디 딱고도 와. 라마 코란게 니 쇼게 다 다기 땅. 아니 긴고라서 소화다 다지 땅 로메도 소화다 근데 제조다 그 저가 땅 전에는 개고도 와. 그 조당 별로 없다. 다음에는 소다고 동바다 된다. 장주 선배 동바는 뭐 된데 학교 거에 그게 요 말이야. 로다 소다고 동바는 소다 동바 유견식 거고 요래. 장주 선배 동바는 게는 장주 선배 동바 유견식 거고 요래면 또 가서 이담 구르샹 구우면 와. 그때 그 조당 로가리요.
And you see how this differs from, for example, the taking of the individual liberation vehicle vows or the bodhisattva vows. One is not required to, for either the one giving, the preceptor, to generate themselves as a Buddha, nor the disciples receiving those vows to see that preceptor as a Buddha. For example, in bodhisattva vows, you just need to have generated the bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. But in the tantric perspective, in the tantric context, I should say, the lama who is giving the empowerment in that morning, they go through the extensive self-generation ritual, then generating the full mandala of that particular deity, and give the empowerment as the deity. And from the disciple who is the prospective one who takes that empowerment, they must perceive the guru as that deity.
근데서 막 라마주 제시 중국도 와. 다 그외 온게 나이 당 하고 다 수고도 와. 그외 온게. 그봐. 다 그거 온 수고고 요 와. 그봐 뒤 온게 나이 당 딱 그거 수고도 와. 아고서. 그봐서 김제 뒤 온게. 딱온 수발라 라마 리담데 마다는 온 타고 요 말이. 난다 간데 로마 코란 임바이네 년 대와서 그거다. 라메 디삼로 땅 어디 톱 섬사자 디톱 섬사자 지도 엔다라 저 삼로 마다는 온 타고 면도. 대 요바서 온 타고 요 말이. 코란 리양 조다시도 와. 다디서 왔다 데네 제 거다 땅에 와도 라마 산제스 딱고예. 산제스 딱고요. 왔다디 건네가 조달로 가래. 라마 산제스 좀 마세자 아니 다지 셈제 탐제 되게 아니 산제스 딱고요래. 내 되게 뒤다고 가서 저불 남도 켜고도 아니 탐에게 낭신 까고도 건네가 차들도 와. 라마 산제스 딱고 맞아. 랑게 딱 가서데 내를 롱주 간대진 바이네 되게가 아니 다바람 잡아시 땅고도 와. 땅고도 거기 거는 조당로 가지고 섬자가 하모고 이제 데려다는 게 잡아를 셔야 되기도 같은데 말은 코랑 조당도 와.
So this must really be seen at from the tantric perspective. The whole style, really, the whole context is transformed. It's different because of this the prerogative for quickly transforming oneself from the ordinary into the world of the deity, the life, the reality of a deity, and that's why the teacher giving the empowerment generates themselves as the deity. And there's the reasoning is saying that this is a totally different perspective here we're presenting. You need to really take the result onto the path. You really need to completely let go of ordinary appearance and see things as pure vision, pure appearance. And so that everything is now an enlightened reality. That all the sentient beings here are no longer ordinary individuals. There are enlightened beings. Their place is transformed into an enlightened celestial realm, etc. And so here the power of that, taking the result onto the path, is emphasized through the process of the guru generating themselves as the deity in order to be able to give that empowerment, to enter into that mandala. And we should have the typical commitment to that. That's why they have a particular style, all these empowerments, where the guru is saying, now you must think like this, and now you must think that you have attained this element of the empowerment, now you must think like this, and so on. So one has to really be present and be aware. If one is just present and not listening, then one doesn't get that empowerment.
야 어디 칸도 어디 탑 subject 있어 또 매바 이제 그 지고 요라 매바 이제 건데 탑 삼당고도
So there's a great deal then in the course of the empowerment that is attained through faith of aspiration, that confidence, that belief that one has really arrived at that particular point in the empowerment, that one has really attained that aspect of empowerment.
다 어디 저 뭐다 대 조단 되게 어디가 시바지 어디 수바다 300대 말니 담보 자와 대바 장완니 스탑 된데 된차도 다 300 그랬을 때 고서 때 말니 다 다다디 다나 먼저 남름디 가서 또 뉴와 산지로서 그 상가다 저와 차트고 요래 상가다 저와 차트고 요래
So you will have here we are arriving at then the detailed explanation of how to relate to the spiritual teacher in thought. What's our thinking meant to be like? And says this has two aspects. One is the root of that is training in faith, and that here again it's telling us that yes, this is a graduated path text, but it is a graduated path text that is closely related to tantric ideal as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of this talk then of how to relate to a spiritual teacher correctly, and faith is being central to that.
어디 담 그때 차도 담보 300대서 줘야 돼서 어디 때 차도 어디 자왜 대바 장관은 기회신이 남 뒤도 세다를 미네 다기 기회신이 되는 산제 모임인데 양담을 줘 산제지 규대를 보자 남소서 개와 도시 창게 닝매도서 기회신이 저 구이 나봤대는 심지가 뒤한자가 숭바 신도 다기 기회신이 되나 산제 모임 라인냠도 삽스타까지 소소가 다데 달라마 때사도 애니 때바티 애니 때바 공부를 줘야죠. 다 사람들이 다나 편도 연구요라 어디.
And so then this relates to the point where we have already now decided to relate to the spiritual teacher, and in the tantric context. And so here in visualizing our own spiritual teacher in the space in front, we again remind ourselves and that my own spiritual teacher is there, and but is in fact a Buddha, a fully enlightened Buddha, and that here in all of the precious tantras, it speaks of the statement of Vajradhara, who says in the degenerate times, I will appear in the form of the spiritual teacher, and that in order to fulfill the purpose of sentient beings, and that so therefore we see our own spiritual teacher as an actual Buddha. It's very important to think like that. So having decided to enter into that spiritual relationship.
계도래서 계도지 줄에서 치매도서 주바랑아니 로도서 주고 셔다 굴레 가니 도지 semba셰 되니 로도서 소도 sem제 편다 미게네 타메와요 소소네 셔다.
And so then the question is asked, then what are the citations or quotes that back up that statement that says in the tantras that in the degenerate times that the Vajradhara will appear in the form of spiritual teachers in order to fulfill the goals of sentient beings. And so here it's saying, on the one hand, there's one from the Hevajra Royal Tantra where it says, in future times, my physical form will be that of masters. And also from another source, it says that it's actually the Vajra Panjara Tantra. Those who call upon Vajrasattva will behold him in the form of a teacher. Focusing on the benefits of living beings, he lives in the form of an ordinary being. And also, when the last age of 500 years comes, I will take the form of masters. Think that they are me and develop respect for them in these times.
다 로베 다니아스 로베 다니 도지체 타데바니 미타고 오시 다 라마다 도지체 예메도 따고발라 라마레 하베 도지차시 여바 되나니 가사티 길로 우주 가야 미토데서.
And also, in future degenerate times, my form shall be that of immature beings. These are the various means I shall employ. I will show myself in these forms. And here it's saying that we should really consider our teacher and Vajradhara as not different from each other. And this really means that our Guru and Vajradhara are kind of inseparable. And it's quite necessary. But if any person asserts that, for example, that the Vajradhara is somehow superior to our Guru, that would be a mistake, such that they will not be able to gain any spiritual accomplishments in their mind stream.
로소 요바 도나네 가사디 줄 우주 가야 미토 보 세다 말베 나루 정도 심베어서 토랑 벤제 나로바 어떻게 되나타.
And so then also it says from the one of the great Kadampa Lama from Jayulpa in the graduated path lineage, he says that if someone asserts that either Vajradhara or his tutelary deity is superior to his Lama, then that person will not get any attainments in his continuum.
나로 가사데 말베사 나루 정도 심베사 토라 벤체 나루 베사 남칼에 이담지 개바도지 때다 때베 기고 주면서 다 부마도 초유로져서 아니 가사 냠바리 가서 야라 롱다 남칼에 계란게 이담 개바도지 때다 때바지 기고 펴도 큐가라 차체럼 이담라 차체서 다 큐가라 차체 이담라 차체서 야소도 말베 이담 개발도제 때다 때바 제발을 찾아 딱 라마니 그 뒤 차체제로 와다 이담들 단다 제셔를 제발을 찾아로서 나르시나 라마메베 코르나 산제제베 미야메 개발 동계 산제야 라마 담바 때네 좀 이단 라메 주바 인스타 가자 수 긴고되게 수두요래 수두네 손세 긴고 투라 팁 디데데제 내제서 다큐라 미주림부 미용
Then there's the story related to between Marpa and Naropa. At one point, Marpa was sleeping in front of Naropa, and at daybreak, the great Pandit Naropa emanated in the space in front. He's a meditational deity, Havadra, together with the full kind of retinue, mandala, and then he said he shook Marpa. He said, "Oh Marpa, my son, don't sleep, get up." He looked in the sky in front. Is your meditational deity together with the retinue and mandala, and quickly get up. And so Marpa woke up, and then Naropa said, "So who will you pay homage to? Who are you going to prostrate to? Do you prostrate to the meditational deity or me?" And Marpa prostrated to the meditational deity Havadra and the retinue in the space in front. And then Naropa says, previously the without the Lama, there wasn't even the name Buddha. And all the Buddhas of 1,000 eons have originated in reliance on the Guru. The meditational deity is nothing more than the emanation of the Guru. And having said that, and he absorbed the whole visualization of the mandala and so on into his own heart center. And he said to Marpa, he said, because of this inauspicious act of yours, that your own lineage or bloodline, your actual bloodline, will not last long. And this became something that was like shared by all sentient beings.
시야 산제 남자 라라기 개와다 서버 나서도 수수도 뭐 제대에서다 그래 개와다 좀 수대야 옆세 지원 도래 자자 상배 차제다 라라 뒤지 차제 심제 남자 된제데 지 아까 직된 남자 또 미네 뒤매 차제 줘봤지 두두 때문에 그 두두 깨네 나나야다 되자 명아 차베스 지바 명아 지바다 몸에 추제데 녀바 말라 녀베츠 샤와말라 샤와다 나바투와 나소자 심전난지 두와자 심전난지 두와다 딱 가라도 뒤에서 지금 가라도 주수민 자와서 통서 어디 독자도 라시면 하고 천매 심전의 된주에서 같이 녀바가 나바티야 가셔 지금 가서다 지금 뒤다 들다 가서다 지금 가서다 지금 주수도 가라도 통대 머지버들 통대에 이는 가라도게 나와 마다는 통대지 용대요 양 가셔라 대대게 돈에 패바 두고 해야 되네 용대요 다 시마시 버와 심정이 감담 봐 나초바 진짜 시마시 봐 이든 나라다 소소 가리만 하고 마다 하는 귀타되면 간다라 안티 야보티 독자도 또 가버들라 티다고 야고 잡나 디바 마사와 캡상 차요로
So, and then so it's clear that the Buddhas will emanate in a variety of different forms according to what is proper for each of their disciples. And so here this is really clarified in the meeting of Father and Son Sutra, where it says, for the sake of sentient beings, they disguise themselves as Indra and Brahma. For some they disguise themselves as demons. The worldly cannot realize this. They engage in activities in the form of a woman. They exist also in animal rebirths. They operate through desire, though there is no desire. They operate through fear, though there is no fear. They are free of ignorance. They demonstrate ignorance. Though not crazy, they act as crazy. Though not crippled, for some they are crippled. And a wide variety of appearances in order to subdue the minds of all beings. And so here, again, I'm saying that we can be very judgmental, can't we, about particular people that we see, or different appearances that we see. These kind of idea of demons has always being improper and doing the wrong thing and so on. This is really due to our own impure vision. And that we have to be very, very careful about being so discriminating, and that it's always good policy not to announce our judgments verbally, but to keep our mouth shut more often. It's always good for avoiding negativities, isn't it? And so even though we don't say it out loud, we have negative thoughts and judgments going on in our mind, and to protect ourselves from that is very profitable for us. So it's like, if you look at the reality of the situation, in order for us to benefit sentient beings, which is the main idea, that it's not possible for us to meet people who are completely free of all fault and only have good qualities. And it's the case that the Buddhas, in benefiting us, cannot emanate kind of a being as completely free of all fault and only having perfect good qualities, because we haven't got the purity of karma to be able to perceive such a being. And so they emanate as those with some fault, fault. And in this way we can actually see and we can actually interact with such a being, and therefore they can benefit because of that. And so this is how they benefit us.
Penachazara Dundula Pembatuna, Dundun number danger, Dundul Pembatu joined.
And so, for example, to benefit animals, they would emanate as an animal to benefit.
Pendo to dance on Pendo to dance on what the Tangarazo Miller Pendo, Naza Mida, number 2 by 7, Naza me ton to you. Me ton to you, and Telepato Pendo to join.
And so then, as human beings, that we have that a capacity to interact with human beings, and therefore they would emanate as human beings to be of maximum benefit to human beings.
What in the Chen Tabaja, the name was that Casangaranzo, Casorata, Nang to say, Maraza, how got to switch the digit one and Papa to which only got the days of what the Tata, Messenger Tanji, Kivishini Tena, and Tuan Tojicha was a Tua, Lama de Jingle up to source, so at the Chival Lama and Chivalama, which is an research in Cuba, Rashasinja Tanja Jasa. You said that sugar tomato was at the weather to get Tamja, Keva, and Kivishini. Then I want to reach out more so Tonga, King did Tamja, Junction, Blue Dancer, to do something what it is.
And so then we make the supplication to, oh please bless us, Guru deity, to be able to, for myself and all other sentient beings, to be able to really see our own spiritual teacher as the Muninja Vajradhara, and that making from that supplication, then the 5 nectar lights descend from the crown of our own Guru, on our crown that is, and enter into myself and all other sentient beings, into our bodies and minds, and so that all negativities and obscurations in general that we have accumulated since beginning this time are purified, and in particular all of the kind of obstacles of that negativities and obscurations and so on that are blocking us from being able to see our Guru as Muninja Vajradhara are also cleared and purified. And then our body becomes in the nature of pure clear light, and we have the conducive qualities for practice such as a long life and merit and increasing realization of the scriptural and realizational Dharma, and that in particular that we have that capacity to realize that our own spiritual teacher is in fact Muninja Vajradhara. That is something that really arises in our mind stream.
So that's then I told Doji Chamos to talk about Kyoja, some of the time you get so what did it get so what? Kaja do zip of Janda, Kangatan, what is it? So get some of them. And now do zip of Janda to check any quite never should check the joy. I don't got table you yet. The day Kava you say, what did it check?
So here that we combine the descending nectar light technique with our own thinking of what is actually happening during this, and really feel that such purification on the one hand and such a blessing is happening on the other, to really make for a very special practice.
And Lama Mambuta with the Lama and Lama and check the now, to sit in this now, and depend on the Lama check this now. And the digit now, what I did Pandochable solutions, what I get it, the what Yana to some of the what did the Kobashi? And that is now at the Munakono Chicago, that to Tapaja, Tujum Shell, some to be shell, Kunjum Shell, to some to shell, and might give a cake, give it to one of the project. I show us the other, what do you water?
And again, another aspect of this was to be to use our own mala to count, especially when we have many different teachers, to count the individual kindnesses that we have received from those teachers, to say that such and such teacher has taught me this dharma, such and such teacher has given me this advice, such and such teacher has helped me to overcome these difficulties and negativities and so on, and to really bring that sense of profound appreciation to mind for all these kindnesses, and that and also like how we have been facilitated in generating the wisdom arising from learning, the wisdom arising from contemplation, and the wisdom arising from meditation, and that all of so many understandings that have not arisen have arisen for us, and even the understandings that we have been deepened and refined and extended from on the basis of these teachings I've received from my teachers, just to gain that sense of a really profound appreciation for all that we have received. So that when we talk of spiritual teacher, it's important to note that there is an external spiritual teacher and an internal spiritual teacher.
다 신이 치 신이게 아니 장라 지가서 다 최나와 이바이네 다 가르랍 좀 되게디 괜찮 다디 소소 냠솔라네 베나 추름이나레 소바이네레 삼데이네레 시라비네레 냠솔라네 아니 라규로 똑바께서나 냠 랑이 냠솔라 냠렌티 나기 계시니레.
And so the external spiritual teacher is the one who gives us teachings, who gives us advice, etc. And then our own practice of those teachings and advice, our engaging in ethical conduct, perfecting our generosity, patience, and so on, in meditative concentration, all of our moving towards realization in those areas is the work of our internal spiritual teacher. So that you know, the degree to which we refine our realization of renunciation to the mind of enlightenment, the correct view of emptiness, all of this is the work of our internal guru, our internal spiritual teacher. And that when we make strong prayers that we will be cared for from life to life by my own internal guru, this will automatically lead to our having external gurus, not being forsaken by external gurus in the future also. So it's really, you know, the heart of things is always in our own hands, isn't it? So that process, that prayer of really looking after, please look after me from life to life when we pray to the Guru, is really in our own hands, because we are in the process of developing that inner Guru.
난다가는 것도 대 라마 산제도 다단데 계셔도 라마 문에도 다다 소소치라 이건데 람다 라마디 산제 멤버이네 소소 산제에서 떼봐이나 아니 산제가 지납 중 다 산제가 지납 중하면서 아니 마오발라 산제 무엇을 셰체네 아니 손퇴게 아니 교주도 것도 와 아니 협상 소소로 열어.
So, you know, this it's so important to realize this, because we often can defer all responsibility to, you know, the external emanation of the guru, without taking any internal responsibility from our internal guru ourselves. And so it's important to understand this, that really the power is in your own hands in cultivating that inner guru, and that it's very important. Yes, that we can, you know, see, if we see our guru, even the external guru, as the Buddha, then we receive the blessing of the Buddha. And not only that, but also we are laying down the conducive causes to being able to actually see Buddha directly in the future.
아니 디가게 디가 디두게 아니 산제 무엇을 제수 생각이 로마 디게티 그 디디 좋아 말아. 중년만에 겨우면 병에네. 아니 데데게 산제 것을 제 주시 줍잖아. 디디 제발 봐. 좋아.
So if we look at the example of the Buddha of this of our era, Buddha Shakyamuni Buddha, some 2,600 years ago, arriving in India, and the disciples that had the good fortune to see him directly then, of course, created the causes for that to occur in many eons before that, or certainly a long time before that, with the specific causes of seeing their own teachers at the time as Buddhas, and laying down the causes like that to actually be in the presence of an actual Buddha in the future.
So penetrate 단데 라면 되다 요새 샤리부다 아니 다데티 콘카사데 다데티라 카사 다께와 공부해라 아니 배지 그 메신저 소스 가자 아주 랭게가 얘기가 소스 되지 깨와라 아니 맞다 지금 하가 동바시 하가님과 룩대교사는 하와이 봐 대대 난강 코랑 그 한국에도 또 제도 리페어링 제 소조 잡도 아니 그 로트죠 대대저 인데서 탕첸 인데스테도 데브리 스바 타카자 데브리서 레모티샤와 산제 꾸티죠 대대저 아니 산제 유엔에서 기본 담바 대대서 제나 컨텐츠 서서 다 되게 서로 데두가 데스 투네 디 주사제는 아니 런이 돈 두게 걸라 상계 좀더 더 세고 투어 차도와
So the story that is told in the graduated path teachings is of Shariputra, and that who many eons prior to his rebirth as Shariputra was a courier, and he was carrying messages from one place to another, and as at nightfall he took refuge in an old ruined temple and lit a kind of like a lamp or a candle in order to repair his shoes, and that the light of the lamp then revealed on the ruined walls some old paintings of Buddhas, and that in really reflecting on what he was looking at, and Shariputra at that time was really thinking how wonderful it would be to meet with such holy beings, such wonderful beings, and how wonderful that would be. And that very thought laid down the causes for him to be born many eons later, 2,600 years ago, and became one of the two close disciples, or the heart disciples of Shakyamuni Buddha. So we can see how all comes about when causes are in place, and nothing happens without causes and conditions. Yes, the natural law as well means that the causes have to harmonize with the result, or rather, the result has to be in harmony with the cause.
야구 싸움을 거쳐 계좌 개념도 와. 디카르스나 그래서 뭐이고 조단게 토네다 된대지면은 된대지 마주는 용마두고 지 조단게 와.
So even the teachings of the Buddha on the law of cause and effect of our past and future lives, they're not so much a doctrine as really kind of a natural law of things, and when we reflect on them carefully, we may reach the conclusion that this is the best possible explanation. That without this explanation, I can't see how there could be an explanation for these phenomena. And then the law of the dependent origination as well.
당 알아서 모두는 코알을 코되고 뒤에 조당 되는 코고도 근데 코알을 탑에 왔다 조당 되는 연구도 다 산재겠다 양로도는 소리 좀 것도 왔다.
And so like this, in being able to present the law of dependent origination, saying, because things are like this, this explains how we revolve in cyclic existence through, karma and mental affliction. But also just exactly because of that too, we can reverse that process and reach the state of liberation from a cyclic existence. So it's clear that such teachings and the way in which they were spoken and the way in which they were taught, that the Buddha was speaking from his own personal experience. So that really one of the great characteristics of the Buddha is clarifying our own ignorance, clarifying what we don't know, what we're unclear about, our own confusion, and by really elucidating what is the actuality, what is the reality, and that his teachings are like very in harmony with what is the reality in all his teachings. That's a quality or a characteristic of them.
That the day in my answer, Penatricasa, Drum Sakchipe, Sakchipe Nalola, and the me that is shame, but set over Yajet to a capture. Mixing Chingmobi Nesula, set over Yajet to a capilla, Sanjay Chuggy, and it's a Chilam, Sanjay Chuggy, and it's a Teddy Namshare, Tarian Namshare, Tigeti and Ma Casoda, Dinjuda, and it's a dash down to Pachi Casoda. When I make it go to your Dinzuka software Jungudu, set to a Jungudu. The cultures are San Diego Chute, where you get nature the Tumbachona. Sungu Yobaza, reported them, Jum Zenatona, reported them betona, so Janet Samayu betona Sungu Tinega.
It's interesting to note that, in the 24th century, and now where there's a very high level of education, and a lot of people have access to the highest levels of education, especially in terms of coming to know external phenomena, that the Buddha's teachings of the basic elements of definition and so on in the kind of the scientific category, the category related to the independent origination and so on. All of this information from the Buddha is very much kind of seen as acceptable to such a highly educated population, because of the fact that it is addressing the actuality of phenomena, of situations. It is reasonable, and it is backed up by valid cognition.
That is a Marazamuli Migi, Shen Yajet to Resuke, Sanjay Sungi Chede, and never check the cheddar to you, but shame over him.
And I think so. It's sort of like really, it's unnecessary to point out that the more in which the more the population of the world become better educated, the more capacity the Buddha's teachings have to be of to come into their own, to be of more benefit.
Because when Sanjay come out to second tickle, Namparangi, when they saw the Sanjay Shune Shebeke, Sanjay and Casoda, Namba Sanjay, Serita, Namba Sanjay, Tawaniki, Chuke Lemela Matoba, Chulu Suina Kavayoma, Chuke Lemela Matoba, Kangekita, Chicasoda, Kellen Twitch.
So there's so much of what the Buddha has taught in the dialectical side of his teachings and the side relating to dependent origination that is acceptable not just to those who have a Buddhist education or religious education, but for those who don't accept any faith-based system. They can see the logic behind what has been taught, and therefore they will have all the more influence and power. So let's leave it there for today.
저 가서도 디스 삼도 단다 가서도 배맞지 다만 MJ도 니마다 다외기 뭐지 삼도 딱 거들지.
And so we finish by, of course, we are aware that we have our own root guru in the aspect of Shakyamuni Buddha on our crowns, and so at our heart center we visualize an upturned 8-petaled lotus on which sits a lotus and sun disk mandala seat.
다 남주 뒤주 여바이나 아니 랑기 년종지 가서도 코와 코다는 삼로 따네. 아니 저 코와 코다다 로아 코와 코다데 로아다 베나 뭐저 치와 세근데 어디 깨와 되네 용도 깨와데 그네 용도도 쓰나 깨와데 그네 용도도 쓰나 다 뭐저 대대지 깨게 아니 깨 실레스바스 데 가서 레사바데 가와 투고도 쓰나 아니 너무도 소군을 나와 데 가와 투고서 머리 뱉고내 나와 왔다 되게 더 그러면서 다음에 코아지 삼로다네 아니 딜랭이 바라죠 년종지 삼로다 아니 년종지 삼로다네 다 년종지에서 아니 년종데 아니 라는 네가 그돌아 뺨마 답게지 교수 삼사자 라 뺨마 답게지 교수 삼사자 아니 되네 가서데 다 심제 대다 다랑 코알 동행 영화 잡으라 타이어 마게 심제 대다 탐지가 보다 집어지게 동행 영화 대하래 안 대다냐 탐자는 다 동행 나쪽이 삼도다는 안 대라 뮤스베 닝제지 삼도다 로 닝제지 삼도다 네 뮤스베 닝제지 삼도다 아니 되네 닝제지 아니 닝제 되네 아니 랑 왔다 다 대다 탐자 동행 들어서 타기 지금서 다 소소 지가도 점화도 세버려 다 대체도 다 제동의 산재 그러죠. 다 산재 탐 산재 공부 토바치기도 맞도 탐도 저 삼다. 근데 가서도 샤. 아니 디 가서도 다외긴 거지 교수 삼산체. 아니 된데 지 어딘데 지 삼다. 안 보다 다다 되게 다 된데 지 코란데 다 심지 탐저 산재 공부 두기 다 삼사지가 소소 코라야 아니 유대는 맞아 봐라 유대는 좀더 좀더 삼는다 아니 많이 봐디 가 셈들 한샤 가자 가서 갔습니다 아니 된대가 셈데 아니 니메긴 거지 교수 삼삼체 정년 좀 장선 양답에 나와 어디 삼 뒤주여나 되게 삼 당선이 야구야래.
And so if we have the time, then one can contemplate the symbolic meaning behind the lotus, moon and sun disk mandala that we have visualized at our heart center, and to really do a glance meditation on cyclic existence in general and how one revolves in cyclic existence, and then settle on the notion of really generating renunciation, that this definite emergence, that one has reached a crystallized conclusion to get out of cyclic existence, this sense of a deep renunciation, and that's symbolized by the lotus seat. And that and if we have the time, then to really pause and just contemplate on renunciation, and that for some time, that would be very, very helpful. And then and then from that meditation on renunciation arises this 8-petaled lotus seat, and then we contemplate how all sentient beings are suffering, just as I am, having reached that conclusion in contemplating renunciation, and that itself is an unbearable situation, and I must really do something about it. So one generates compassion, but more than that, the responsibility for doing something about that myself, taking personal responsibility, that I must do something, I must attain the state of enlightenment in order to bring some benefit to sentient beings, and thereby generate the mind of enlightenment, bodhicitta. And from that arises the moon disk mandala, and that here again we can pause and reflect on the significance of taking such personal responsibility to reach such a goal for such a great meaning. And then we, in contemplating how the one meditating in this way, reflecting in this way, completely lacks any objective existences, merely imputed by thought. And in going through that meditation to reach the point of the mere negation of the object of negation, and into that emptiness, and then arising from that, then the sun disk representative of the correct view. So here you go through the three higher trainings of renunciation, bodhicitta, and the correct view of emptiness, if you have that time. And then from the figure, bringing the figure on our crown, the Muninja Vajradhara, our own root guru, and making that supplication prayer, "O glorious and precious root guru, come take your lotus and moon seed placed here on my heart. Keep me safe in your kindness and bestow on me the attainments of your body, speech, and mind." The first time begins that journey down through once, and they're kind of like absorbed into or transformed into the nature of light, and then move down through one's central channel, down through the crown. Second recitation, they arrive are seated, and thirdly, they are seen to be really stable and fixed on that seat at our heart center. And then we make our again supplication prayer, "O Guru Muninja Vajradhara, please look after me, please care for me until I attain the state of enlightenment myself." And then through the combination of my own most subtle wind with the body of the Buddha, and my own body transforms into the enlightened body of a Buddha. And then through the combination of my own most subtle mind acting as the substantial cause, and the mind of the Buddha acting as the cooperative conditions, my own mind transforms into the enlightened mind of a Buddha. And now we reflect on how my own body and speech and mind are inseparable from the body, speech and mind of a Buddha. And to rejoice in having reached at this point, really thinking how wonderful I have reached that state of enlightenment, of becoming a Buddha, in order to benefit all sentient beings today. How wonderful that is. And then from our own heart, as an enlightened being, we send countless rays of light, equal in number, to all sentient beings in all the realms of existence. And these rays of light enter into the crowns of all the sentient beings, and relieving them of all negativities and obscurations that they have accumulated since beginning this time. And they are seen to proceed along the path to enlightenment, and then attain that state of enlightenment themselves. And again, rejoicing how wonderful today I have achieved that goal of leading all sentient beings to their ultimate goal. How wonderful that is.
여봐 이제 다 단다 규디를 때네 다 내가 소리 모두 최신이 제바다 내가 삼로다 규디를 때네 묘한유도 아니 데리지 쪽도 아니 교류 좋아서 송화지.
Then we make a dedication, a very sincere dedication, and with the understanding that what I'm doing here is based on my own imagination. It's an aspirational way of thinking, but on the basis of that kind of cause, I want to ensure that the cause is laid down, that it will become an actuality as quickly as possible.
어떤 데리를 교류 좋아서 아니 때네 심지 탐제가 좀 산제 심지 탐제 다 심지 탐제 산제 고마다 이 정도 산제 고마 대두배쳐도 소소다 남네 가르쳐 봤다 아니 소소도 제바인가 아니 유대는 맞죠 봐 똑같이 파다서 서서서
and to reflect how all the elements here, all sentient beings, the state of enlightenment, being the agents in this practice, the practice itself, all lack any objective existence and merely imputed by thought. And then from this then arises bliss invoking emptiness, and then we abide in the wisdom of non-dual bliss and emptiness.
아니 다 되는 거죠. 로티기 타마서 차버려. 타마 차버려. 안 되는 저 단어 생이 이게 또 가서 콘센트로 콘센트 기구 용하셔. 아니 믹스에게 다리 로티링 같아. 아니 지금 담아서 지금 또다 차지 지금 라미시에 국업 중앙에 그래서 마라이네 가서 좀 그런 소리네. 그때 가서 뭐 중요를 지금도 중요를 지금도 다들 다른 뭐죠? 지금 가서 시부시다 어제 제투고요 말다 팀비지 소속지 알리 좀 몰라주면 돼 잡자 삼로주면 돼 당잖아 가만 가셔 삼로 당한테 곧 되는데 대박 다다들 제부 통화요 말다 로 배제 치다 분자 가셔 제는 거 저기 제부 준 거지 그래서 다때다 다른 것도 미일이 되는 것도 뒤불이 말이 미일이 되는 나왔대 다른 것도 제부 통화를 다 뒤도 것도 통화 두고 못 와. 좀 예봐도 치요. 막 되게 예봐도 치요. 막 뒤나다 저. 뒤나다잖아. 그 뒤도 제부 통화요. 때 이내야. 근데 야보죠. 야보 사투리래. 야보 사투리래. 제수이래. 다른 데 나가도 돼. 개인적이다. 그것도 뭐 지금 로바다 편도 뭐 제수 되게 건강. 토지 체스. 세계 아니 믹스에 넣어처럼 내가 이네들 중요해 그러요 말이야. 토지 체스.
So this is the final teaching of the year. That for this year, and I wish Noel and Sabine a good holiday, and they go on a holiday, and that this is an opportunity we have had to go through the stages of the path to enlightenment, and we have all here. We should rejoice in the virtue that we have accumulated, and myself and all of you as well, in being able to be here for these teachings. And it's a little by little we kind of augment our store of virtue in this way. It's a very good, even through thinking about these issues, even for a few minutes to share time like this is quite significant. And after all, we have to consider that what we have now is the result of some cause that we have laid down, maybe eons ago, maybe 10,000 lifetimes ago, But no doubt about it, there had to have been a cause for this result to happen now, even though the result does not see the cause. And that here we can be sure that we have gained some virtue, and that should be something that we all rejoice in. And I wish to take this opportunity to thank of all those really who have helped in one way or another over the course of this year, and especially those who have taken on a real responsibility for the sustaining of the centre and the opportunity that we all have to avail of these great teachings. And also, thank you, Noel. Thank you very much for.
Without no possible. Sure, completely. Thank you. Yeah, 아니 때 가서다 나가는 생각을 때다 지금 가서다 안때 말 지금 다 맞아 지금 조조스나 다 민중주주 할때 이내 뒤돌다 야 그 지금 지자 소거다 내가 제거 또서만 용되고 뭐 제거 용도 와 다시 제거다 안다가 이제 하나로를 잡을때 다른 미래 가서 때 콘가서 싱가포르에 가서 레디 다까지 민망 부지 개인 캐잖아 안가서 존 게트 바로 뭐 붙여서 거기서 그래 다는 거는 센직사 가서 뭐저 집에 캐리 다 망부지 개인 캐잖아 다 망부지 개인 캐다 안다가 이제 뒤견한테 제 최내가 용게 되다 지금 망제 미결에 선도 뒤주요 선도 뒤주요 말에 믹스에 빈티거다 안다가 이제 가서 이슈가 그래서 다른 거래 뭐 디바인 용하는 토지 체스 제수이나 요스문에 전에 말하지 담치 여바인사 배우고 여봐 제수이나 요스
And so, there's so many people I really want to thank that even though we are a small centre, but still it requires a great deal of support, a great deal of help and so on by so many, and that there's like Hannelore and David, Randy, John, Gary, and so many more others who have helped out in so many ways, whether it's helping or taking positions of responsibility that keep the centre going, keep it alive, and so it's very, very important. And also, I'm aware that most of us involved here are lay people in busy lives, jobs, and so on. But you take the time out to give of your time. And to come a long way, even for the teachings from Bendigo, from Echuca and so on, is something I really rejoice in. And I really feel we have this kind of special kind of connections between each other, which is something that we should all rejoice in. Thank you very, very much. And a special thank you to Bao and Pamo, who kind of like are so kind. Thank you very, very much.
아다 내가 같이 가서다 민간가다 등급도 얘네다 수인바이네 알데 최년가 용계인바이네 년가 용계면은 모두 조조서 가리 편터래 요 말과 같이 년가 용계다 다 수인바이네 수인바다 민이 때문에 맞다 그 가서다 나서도 잡아 이거 수인바이네 안데가 다가는 생각 지금 다음 맞아 어디 약으로서 제수이란 지금 야잖아 고 도지체스
And so, for me, I mean, I'm not good with names. I don't remember everybody's name. But,
too old.
But it doesn't matter. Whoever it has come here to listen to the teachings, because after all, it's essential to do that in order to get some benefit. And that, but all those who have helped in any little tiny way to kind of keep the centre going, I really truly thank you and rejoice in your virtue.
and so that check the and I mean Marato Java you can tell select the junior and that these so and somebody just send a cassette at that touch that comes to George to come again to new to Tata and it's Casotata Marso Gavati new to Tata and Caso Logic Savage as a tea new to Tata and that
and of course, we have those who we have a connection with, and those who we may not have a connection with have passed away over this last year as well, and that indeed all sentient beings who have passed away over the course of this time, may they be freed from the suffering of the lower realms or any of the realms, 6 realms in which they have been reborn. Take a precious human rebirth and meet with a qualified Mahayana teacher like His Holiness and be able to proceed along the paths and grounds to enlightenment. And that, and of course, now that we are all at least 1 year older, and the body is starting to show its age and pains, and that some of us, of course, are unwell. I know Hannelore going through some sickness at the time being, and that but as long as we have these contaminated aggregates of the body, it's going to cause us problems, and so we dedicate again also for all those who we have a connection with, who are in any way sick or unwell. And indeed, I extend that out to all countless mother sentient beings who are suffering from sickness or illness of one sort or another. And may they recover their full health, and may they make the remainder of their life very, very meaningful. And so also that even as they are sick, when they are sick, to make that meaningful by putting it into the reality of the context of knowing that this sickness has arisen from some negative karma, and that by being able to deal with it correctly, I will be able to purify that karma, so it's got purpose to it.
렌데 운에 켈랭게 렌데 운에게 이진이게 미지만 동해 주나 가설기고 요래 되게 주나 또 판기 요래 되게 주나 내 개와 내 단 개와 세 주고도 썼어 동해 주나 오 다야부터 렌데 바사게도 내가 찾고서 가능요 되죠 다들 운에는 렌데 냠래 운에 지금 찾대요.
And so I often point out that the one who really understands the law of cause and effect, or the real practitioner of the law of cause and effect, becomes quite joyful when suffering arises, because deep inside, because they know that this is a purification of negativity, and they become deep inside slightly disappointed when happiness or some good thing arises, because they know that this could be using up their virtuous karmic imprint. So they're careful in that regard.
What did
and we dedicate that just this year that we were able to all come meet here on many occasions, that it may continue again next year, that we all will be together and be able to engage in Dharma discussion and to quickly lay down the causes to attain enlightenment. And we dedicate also for His Holiness in particular, but for all holy beings who are working to benefit sentient beings, that all their holy wishes will be fulfilled, and then they may have a long life. And for as long as cyclic existence remains, that may the teachings remain, and indeed the teachings in their totality, and the teachings unadulterated may remain to really be there for the benefit of sentient beings. We dedicate also for peace, whether it's domestic problems or society's ills or international conflicts, that these disagreements may be resolved through peaceful dialogue, engaged with respect and appreciation. And so we also really have to turn our minds to environmental protection, and to really pray and that the environments of the world will be truly protected, but also to understand that to point a finger at somebody who is destroying the particular environments or causing damage to particular environments where At the same time, we are allowing our desires to run unchecked. Is a total oxymoron. It's a contradiction, and that that really the heart of environment protection is to reduce our desires that use up all these environmental resources. And so by gaining a sense of, we dedicate for a sense of satisfaction with less, in order to for that to have the effect of protecting environments.
And
we have the rain, appropriate rain at the right time. And that all trouble, conflict and war in the world may be quickly reach a peaceful solution. Do our dedication.